I am absolutely here. I'm actually excited tonight. I know you guys haven't heard much from me this week because I've been just way into the finishing up the documents and kind of. So I'm going to tell you why I'm so excited. You know how I tell you guys the sellers don't bother me. Let them sell. Sell it down, sell it down, sell it down. We have an algorithm within the system that actually banks the liquidity. Okay. So, meaning if the selling pressure is high, it's not going to boost up the market value for the sellers. And so I told you guys over the first year, really watching the algorithm and making sure that everything works as it was designed to do. It does all of that. But I've we've added a new algorithm into the system. And I don't know, those of you that were in Discord, I told you on Tuesday I was going to explain to you what this piece of algorithm is that I've added into the system. Some of you will like it, some of you won't, okay, right out of the gate, but you're going to love it very soon. But before I tell you, first, I'm going to give you some numbers, okay? In the current banked MoveQuest, okay, not what comes from the actual system that's allotted to the liquidity each year, just what the actual system has purchased over time from the DEX is nearly 400,000 MoveQuest tokens. Okay, it's 376,000 MoveQuest tokens that it's purchased. That's close to $1.5 million in today's market value, although it's been buying them all along at the different market intervals. So it's much higher spent, to buy that MoveQuest than what its actual value is today at what was it, 299, which I think is the lowest it's been since it listed. So if you were to take, and I didn't calculate exactly what it spent, but it's into millions of dollars that it's actually purchased, but what its market value is today, plus it's got a little more than $500,000 banked of USDT to go into the liquidity pool. To be fluid, the liquidity pool only needs, let me come back up here, $194,218. That's it. And we are a completely fluid liquidity pool. But the algorithm won't boost up the market value with a high selling pressure. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a slideshow with you, real quick slideshow or doc, whatever you want to call it. And I'll make this available. I've got all these documentations done in PDF files so you guys can see them. I'm going to share my screen real quick, or so you guys have them. And they'll also be on the dashboard. I believe they're going up there tomorrow. Let me get back over here to where, hold on a second here. Entire screen. Okay, share. All right, hold on here. I got to get myself set up properly. All right, it is sharing, so let me play this. So I'm going to go over what the new daily mining distribution is. You know how I talk about its supply and demand, right? And that the community needs to, as a miner, well, I'm going to get ahead of myself. I'm always over talking myself. So I'm always explaining what the role of a miner is. Okay, like back in the early days of Bitcoin when you didn't have to have massive computing power, anybody could mine Bitcoin just on a laptop. Usually it was the Acers that was used. Okay, you're a miner mining the MoveQuest token. You're the supplier of that MoveQuest. You're the ones that fuel the ecosystem, okay, with these tokens. You validate the activity on the blockchain and it provides you with a token yield. And then when you sell it, it's supposed to be to meet the market demand. So you're converting your mining power, it's converting your physical activity into the on-chain supply. They don't just earn the tokens, but they're actually providing that liquidity into circulation into the ecosystem. So mining should follow demand, not emotion. So the new MoveQuest algorithm is going to ensure that. So now instead of the community controlling the supply and the demand, the ecosystem is going to control the supply and the demand. So now as a community of people, you don't have to worry about the overselling because it won't be there anymore. Because now the ecosystem is going to control that. So now you know the market value is going to steadily increase. The liquidity is going to steadily increase because no longer is it based on what the community does on the supply and the demand, but the actual ecosystem, the algorithm within the ecosystem now controls the supply and the demand. It takes it out of the community's hands. That's a great thing because now you don't have to worry about the selling pressure or the overselling of the token. And so now you know that the tokens that you're going to mine are going to begin to increase in market value. You won't see that steadily declining market value from overselling pressure. So now you don't have to worry about miners that oversupply or sell too much. You don't have to worry about a price weakening. You don't have to worry about this low market value anymore because the ecosystem is now going to even manage supply and demand. And this was difficult for me to add this into the algorithm. It's taken me a whole lot of brain power this week. It'll seem simple to you, but to make it all work and to make all the calculations go and to look at what the selling pressure was over time and what is that, daily mining distribution, what is it supposed to be set at? How should this work? How do you stay within, the daily distribution limits? All of this stuff. It took a while to get this down, but it's very simple math when I bring it out for you to see. So basically, it's going to be based on the daily submissions. So as an example, yesterday's daily submission was 2,100. That's like a really all-time low. So what you'll do is you'll take what the daily submissions are, you'll times that by 0.25, and that will be the day's MoveQuest distribution. This ensures that distribution scales in real time with activity, not guesswork or not just a straight output of MoveQuest on a daily basis. So why will it work? Because the output rises only when activity or the demand rises. So as the ecosystem and as the community is engaged within the ecosystem, you'll see the MoveQuest output increase. And every single day, it's based on submissions. So the more people submitting, the higher the output of the daily mining reward of the MoveQuest. If the submissions decrease, then the MoveQuest output decreases as well. If the submissions are decreasing, and you've got the same amount of MoveQuest that goes out every day, you've got less people involved or engaged in the actual ecosystem, you've got an oversupply that's going to be sold. And what's coming in through the ecosystem is not meeting that balance. So now this prevents not over minting, it's a typo, over mining during the slow period. So I have to fix that. And the ecosystem is now going to regulate that supply automatically. It's not going to be based on the community selling habits. So before, like when we started out at 2,000, then we went up to 2,500, then we went up to 3,000. Then we went back to a fixed rate of 2,000, 1,500 through the hatcheries and 2,000 through the daily mining. The hatchery doesn't change, that stays the same. So that isn't affected because that's actually staking for the actual MoveQuest. That fixed 2,000 a day, that's an oversupply right now. And the selling pressure is high and it just declines the liquidity. There's been a lot of compromised wallets, it seems like, in the last couple of weeks. Of course, that hasn't helped either. But now we've got that dynamic distribution that's based on real participation. It's a sustainable supply and steady liquidity. So with the old algorithm, it relied on the community to manage that supply and demand. And you all know it doesn't matter how much you try to educate or how much you explain, or doesn't matter what you say. It falls on deaf ears, and it just keeps going in the same direction instead of people selling when there's a demand. They just sell because they sell. Like they don't take the ecosystem and what this actual project is. They don't take that into account. They don't have forward thinking. They just have the today thinking, which that's fine, whatever. They do what they got to do. But now we've got the new algorithm where the ecosystem will actually manage that supply and demand. So now you don't see that selling pressure anymore. And you'll see over the next 30 days how this really is going to fire up that ecosystem and the injections of liquidity. Now it's going to start looking at a different trend because now the algorithm is going to control the supply and the demand. So it doesn't have to look at what the community is doing because it knows what's going to happen already within the algorithm. So now the actual ecosystem can start buying the MoveQuest, can start injecting that liquidity, so we can start seeing what's bank actually go in to the system, because now the new algorithm, it actually manages that supply and demand. So you're going to see fewer tokens that are flooding the market. You're going to see a stronger liquidity pool value. You're going to see a rise in the market value of the MoveQuest token. What's that going to do? It's going to show green on the DEX exchange. What's that going to do? That's going to get attention to our project. We're going to have a market value that goes up. We're going to see the liquidity pool that is actually going to start injecting what it's banked, so it can stabilize that market value, because now it's the ecosystem that's controlling the supply and the demand, and not the community. So when the ecosystem demand is greater than the mined supply, the market value strengthens. An example in this, let's say for the 2100, if the average daily submission, it averages about $1.75 a person, even though some people spend more depending on your miner, some people spend less depending on their lower powered miners. It averages out overall to about $1.75 per submission. So if you take the 2100 submissions, that would equal about $3,675 just from submissions. The MoveQuest that would have been distributed is 525. If you take today's market value of 299, that means that if those 525 are sold, it would be a decrease of $1,570 from the liquidity pool. However, 3,675 came in from submissions. So now what the ecosystem will do, because the demand is there now, okay, it's organically written into the algorithm. The demand has been put inside the ecosystem. Now, every single day, because this creates that demand, the ecosystem is going to be able to deduct the 1570 that was sold and go buy it back, and then pair what it bought to the remaining amount of USDT and add it into liquidity. So you're going to get 1.5 times more into that liquidity every single day. Now you see the market value increasing. Now you see the liquidity injections start to take place. And as it gets a little bit closer to that liquid level, you'll start seeing that bank liquidity start being injected. So now the actual algorithm within the ecosystem is going to correct the imbalance from the overselling, from that selling pressure. So what's the outcome? The daily inflow actually feeds the liquidity faster than it can be drained. The overselling can't happen now. So even if you're mining less, what you are mining is going to have a much higher market value. The liquidity pool will deepen. It will begin to stabilize even more than what it does right now. You're going to start to see the MoveQuest market value rise naturally. You don't have to worry about buy campaigns or the outside building of the community, because now the ecosystem is going to handle it all, including the supply and the demand, which is nothing. I had not written that into the algorithm to begin with. But after watching all this, I had to, okay, what is it missing? What's the algorithm missing? It's missing something. It's missing. I'm going, what's the only thing that's wrong here? The selling pressure. You can't get the community to understand what the supply and the demand means. So how do you fix this? Well, you make the algorithm handle the supply and demand and fix the whole thing on its own, where it's completely automated, and now the algorithm within the ecosystem will naturally control the supply and the demand. So where the community dictated the market movement, now the ecosystem's algorithm is going to dictate the supply. That's going to make a predictable token flow, a sustainable mining of the MoveQuest, stable liquidity, and a strengthened market confidence. So now the supply is going to move with the rhythm of the activity and not the mood of the market by the community. Just to give you an idea, the MoveQuest that was distributed currently was 2,000 MoveQuests as of today. Beginning tomorrow, it's going to take on, and it'll all be automated. Okay, so right now we've just set it at 500, and then Waleed will adjust it each day until Friday. On Friday, it will go to Apple and to Android for an update, and it will be completely automated. So every single day, the ecosystem is going to adjust the amount that's mined, and it can go up as high as 5,000 a day. Okay, so it's not just a set amount daily. The actual ecosystem is going to automatically adjust the daily mining. and it's going to be based on that day's submission. So if you have 4,000 submissions today, at the end of the day, it's going to compute 4,000 times 0.25, and then that is what, based on your physical activity, however mining shares you had, and how many hashes that it generated, is going to validate the amount of the MoveQuest that you got from your physical activity. With a new distribution, that same like the 2000 today, it would have actually been 525. It has the same ecosystem inflow. However, with the old algorithm, we were actually putting 1.8 times more supply into circulation than there was a demand. And now with the ecosystem taking over, it's going to create a 6 times more demand than supply. So I hope you guys are understanding what just happened here and how the ecosystem got even stronger. And now it's going to remove that selling pressure. Granted, there's still 298,000 sitting in the users' wallets. We don't care about that. That's nothing. That's peanuts, okay, in the world of crypto. Yeah, we've got almost 600,000 in hatcheries, but those are your stakers that are holding, and they'll keep, especially those in the tier 3 and 4, they'll keep rolling those over because they're here for the long term. That's why they're in tier 3. That's why they're in tier 4. They see the long term gains of the MoveQuest token. This piece here that we've just added into our ecosystem just strengthened it by massive amounts. And so now, with the shift that we've just made in the ecosystem, now buys more MoveQuest, okay, from the submissions and is actually being distributed daily. So this is the perfect environment now for price strengthening. And you watch and see how fast this turns around. And then, of course, the more submissions, the more MoveQuest that goes out. But it's never a higher supply than what there is a demand for it. So basically what's happened is that we've cut the mining output by 75%. That introduces that demand-linked distribution formula. The MoveQuest token economy, we've flipped it to a deflationary piece. Now each submission adds more buying pressure than selling pressure because the ecosystem is going to buy every day now. The ecosystem is going to inject liquidity every day now because the selling pressure isn't there. That's what was stopping the ecosystem from injecting, from buying and from injecting, because the selling pressure was too high, and it is not designed to drive the market value up for the sellers. So now what we've done is we've written in that buying pressure. Now you can see every single day where that algorithm is going to kick in. Buy, inject, buy, inject, buy, inject, buy, inject. Now it's going to get fun again to be able to watch this because we've removed that selling pressure. So to me, this is like a super exciting part. It brings the fun back into MoveQuest. Sellers are the first to stop submitting. Okay, I've been watching these trends. We don't know who the people are. I don't even care who they are. But you can see the trends, and you can see, a wallet, the same wallets, okay, that sell, that sell, that sell, that sell, that sell. Then when they stop, they disappear. Okay, so your sellers are the first to stop submitting. When the market value dips, they're the ones that are making the price dip because they're the ones that are primarily selling. Rather than to participate or grow, they lose their motivation because their expected short-term return drops. They see less immediate value in paying the submissions or the economy fees, and their mindset is ROI driven rather than ecosystem driven. So this is a natural filter. When the MoveQuest rises, these same individuals, they come back and they mine and they sell again. Your holders and your builders behave differently. They understand that the submission fees recycle into liquidity. They believe in the long-term rise of the MoveQuest market value and they actively support the ecosystem growth. They tend to keep submitting regardless of the short-term fluctuations. It's not the market value today that concerns them. It's the market value in the future that they're looking forward to. Those are our true engaged users of the community. They're the ones that are mining because they understand the mechanism and they're not chasing the instant profit. We're not a get rich quick overnight scheme, although we could create that very, very quickly, especially now that we've taken the selling pressure out of this, now that the ecosystem is the one that actually controls the supply and the demand. You don't have to worry about the community overselling pressure being there. And so you could see this turn around super, super duperly quick. Duperly, that's not even a word. Super duper quick. Super duperly. Anyway, you get my point. You get what I'm trying to say. So the pattern, it reinforces sustainability. Ironically, when the sellers drop off, the daily distribution mining output, it may decrease. You will see less MoveQuest flood the market, but you'll also see the liquidity pool stabilize and you'll see the price rebound so much faster. In other words, the ecosystem will self-correct. It already does that, but it won't do it during that heavy selling pressure. Now it's just going to always self-correct. Your seller fatigue actually accelerates the recovery now. So what we're seeing, it's not a weakness, it's a behavioral filter. And I just had to figure out a way to fix that behavior that isn't supposed to be here. So when the market dips, sellers stop submitting, which immediately reduces the selling pressure. It restores the balance. It's the ecosystem doing exactly what it was designed to do. And now we've just put that little enhancement in there so it's going to do even more than what it was originally designed to do. So MoveQuest algorithm or participant behavior works together to maintain balance. Short-term sellers exit during the dips, but their exit restores equilibrium and strengthens the ecosystem. And so hopefully this makes sense to everybody. And before I go on to the boosts, I'm just going to come back over here real quick so I can see on the Zoom if any of this made sense. I hope you guys absolutely love this. Yes, you're going to see a decrease in the MoveQuest that comes out on a daily basis. But those of you who are here, you get it. You understand what this ecosystem is doing. And I don't know why I missed this little piece when I created this entire algorithm. It was, I guess you kind of figure that's what the market would do anyway. That's what the community would do. Everybody knows what you're doing as a miner. You're the ones who are banking the tokens because you're supplying the market when there's a demand there for them, when the community growth is there. But it's like banging your head against a wall. It's like you could say it all day long. You could shout it from a mountaintop 24/7, and I still don't think that people would listen. So now the ecosystem will just do it naturally. So if everybody understands that, I hope you guys truly get it. I hope it's not, you know, that people think you're not going to be mining what you should be, because it will increase. It doesn't take a whole lot to increase it. I think I'm still sharing my screen. Let me go to this one here. I'll show you how it goes up. So, like if we were to get back up, let's say to 4,400 submissions a day, it would increase the MoveQuest distribution to 1,100. Okay, if you go up to 5,600, you're at 1,400. To get to the full 5,000 would take 20,000 submissions a day. You would have 5,000 a day going into the mining pool, and you'd still have the 1,500 a day in the hatchery. So we'd be at 6,500 out of the 7,200 that could go out. But you won't see, it's like right now, 2,000, you'd have to have 8,000 submissions to get to 2,000 MoveQuest a day. When we get to that level, you're talking about MoveQuest being over the $100 mark. Okay, that's an exciting place to be, and we can get there so much faster now because we've just removed the selling pressure. If you look at the fluid calculator, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is where we're $194,000 away from being completely fluid of USDT because we've already got the banked MoveQuest. I've been wanting to get to this level in market value. I know that may sound silly to all of you, but it's the fastest way to pull in the most amount of MoveQuest possible. Because as the market value increases, obviously people sell less for more money. Now they have to sell more for less money. So to be able to drag that MoveQuest back in, because the ecosystem, now that we've taken the selling pressure out of this, now that the ecosystem controls supply and the demand, now the ecosystem can start buying that MoveQuest that is oversupplied. And it can start bringing it back into its coffers for future liquidity. So now you'll start to see that MoveQuest market value go up, but with liquidity to support it as it goes up. And because you're not oversupplying the market, your sellers will disappear. You'll get some, but nothing near what we had because they won't have as much to sell. It'll be the holders that will determine when that selling is going to take place. And when you look at what's in the hatcheries, there's 581,837 MoveQuest tokens in the hatcheries. We've got a lot of holders, a whole lot of holders. Those are your responsible miners. Those are the ones that are going to dictate when that selling pressure is there. And you already know that when there's 298,000 only in the user's wallets and double in the hatchery, that's strong. Okay. And you know you've got a community that really does support the project. So how do you stop the overselling until the supply and the demand, or until the demand is there from community growth? Well, you hit those wallets the hardest because these wallets are holding and they're just going to take what they're mining and they're putting it back into the hatchery. And they already know that they're getting a lot in the hatchery. So make up the difference in the hatchery because that's where it'll be. So still 2,000 a day are going out because you got 1,500 in the hatchery, 500 in the mining, but you don't have 3,500 going out, which is an oversaturation in the market. All right, now I'm going to go into the boosts real quick, and we'll go over those. This is a quick slide. All right, so these are going to go live here as soon as Apple updates the app. There are 3 types of boosts. These boosts are optional. We will be giving them away as well. So those of you that got them as Christmas gifts, you'll be able to pick which one you want out of this list that I'm going to go over. Waleed's doing a final test on it tonight. It'll go over to Apple and to Android for an update as soon as it's validated. You'll see the update come into, you'll have to do through your app store. They are optional. They do increase your mining daily capacity and performance. They're designed to make active users more competitive and to reward consistency. They're purchased directly through MoveQuest using the MQT token. And when you use these, when I say they're displayed visually on each submission card, if you choose to use a boost, you'll click the boost. It will show you what it's going to give you on your submission card as far as your boost, like how many steps does it increase, how many calories, how much sleep, all this other stuff. So you'll be able to see it before you actually submit. It will give you flexibility for consistency, the rest day boost. Okay. Everybody wants to get their max activity in 7 days a week, but really for physical health, you're supposed to have a day or two to let your body rest. So you'll be able to use a rest day every 3rd day, meaning if you bought, let's see, you use a boost today, you couldn't use it again until the 3rd day, meaning today is day 1, day 2, day 3. So you really have to skip a day is all. It reuses the previous day's activity. So let's say you maxed out today and you wanted to rest tomorrow. You just need a rest boost. It'll take today's activity. Well, whether you max out or not doesn't matter. But if you picked a day that you did max out and you knew you weren't going to get all that activity in the next day, you could use a rest boost. So it prevents missing mining days. And it also helps to maintain that consistent mining streak, and especially with your miners powering up, because that plays a role in your miner power-ups too. The limit boosts are going to allow you to increase your max limits. So for those of you that are, very athletic, you do more than the 12,000 steps. There's 4 tiers. You can boost your 12,000 steps by 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100%. Now, these are the pricing. It's basically at this point, I think it's 0.06 MoveQuest for tier 1, which is the equivalent of 18 cents at the $2.99. Now, if MoveQuest is $50, it still is that 0.06 times the $50. So if you take MoveQuest at $50 times by 0.06, it would cost you $3 to do that 10% boost. I didn't put the MoveQuest values here. I should have done that. I don't know why I didn't. But basically, your tier 4, you can take your 12,000 steps up to 24,000, meaning if you did 24,000 steps today and you want credit for it, you could do a tier 4 limit increase, meaning you can raise your limit above 12,000 and get credit for it. And I'll get a little bit better explanation on these. I just didn't have as much time to finish this one up as I wanted. Your performance boosts. This is what amplifies your total mining output. Let's say you got 5,000 steps today and you want to, or let's say you got, I don't know, 10,000 steps and you want to do a 20% boost. You could boost it with a tier 2 performance boost by 20%. So if you had 10,000, it would give you another 200, right? Or 2,000. I don't know. My brain's tired tonight. But anyway, you see what I'm getting at. It boosts all of your activity by 10%, 20%, or 30%. And it takes the MoveQuest token. There'll be bundles so you can buy them in like packages where you can get a combination of all of them. You'll be able to earn these. So if you submit X amount of days, you'll earn boosts. If you enter into any of the hatcheries, you'll be able to earn boosts. If you share the app with somebody, you'll be able to earn boosts. If you share on social media, you'll be able to earn these boosts. So you can buy them or you can earn them. And the whole thing behind this, let's say you do a performance boost, right? Let's say you almost made it to 10,000 steps or 12,000 steps. You can boost your performance and then you can turn around and you can extend your limit as well. Or you can say you maxed out at 12,000, but you want to do a performance boost and take yourself to 15,000. You can do that through a performance boost and then you can increase your limit. So it allows you to increase your mining power so that you can get more tokens. The best thing about this is, yes, they do cost MoveQuest if you want to purchase them, but you can also earn them through in-app activities, through sharing the app, through, posting on Twitter, posting on Facebook, doing different activities to help share the MoveQuest project. So it's not the only way to get them isn't just through purchasing them. You can also earn them as well. I didn't go through very good on this, but I wanted to just kind of give you guys an idea of how these work. It's going to create that continuous token demand. It supports the liquidity, market value stability. It encourages daily participation, engagement, all the stuff that it should do within the ecosystem. So hopefully you'll see them as soon. Again, that's an Apple and Android update. As soon as that's done, you'll see those appear in your back office. I'm finishing up the minor power ups. So y'all have that document ready for you as well here in the next day or so. As soon as the app has the update, you'll see those different things come into play. We may be bringing the leasing up sooner than expected. I'll explain that probably on next Tuesday's call. It appears we may have a major demand for that here in the very near future. So that's going to be a positive. So I'll let you know on Tuesday. The only reason we haven't made that available yet to the community is because we really haven't had that demand. However, based on some things I've been working on this week and last week, it's looking like that demand may be there. So it's another positive moving forward. So kind of, I guess, look at the market value right now as a kind of a hard reset. It filters out your sellers. This new piece within the system that we're adding to the algorithm, it's gonna really play a massive role in seeing that market value move up. So I think that's really all I've got tonight. I hope you guys are excited about this as much as I am. Like, it's kind of made me really excited. to finally figure out that one little piece. Like, how in the world do I correct this? I can't tell people what to do because they won't listen to me. So how do I fix it for them and let the ecosystem do it? I finally did figure it out. But you guys, it's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing. It's a very positive shift in what you'll see now. You don't have to worry about seeing all the red. Now you'll start seeing green. And hopefully, the ones that are holding that 298,000 that didn't put them in the hatcheries, we can get rid of some of those, bring that down even lower. So, like those of you that are in the hatcheries are the suppliers of the MoveQuest. So, we still don't even care if they still sell because we know we've got the backup in the bank. When I say bank, I'm talking about the ecosystem bank on the USDT side as well as the MoveQuest Vault. Oh, I do want to bring up one. I don't think I went through this. I'm not going to share it tonight because we're already getting into almost 10 o'clock, but I am going to make it available because it goes through the smart contracts. And I actually show you guys on this document how to calculate what the fluid level of the pool is yourself so that you actually can go in and see where everything is at. You can see what the vault is holding on the MoveQuest. You can see what the vault is holding. So we've got two vaults. We've got the liquidity vault, and then we've got the bank vault, or the vault which holds the max supply, and then the liquidity vault which holds the MoveQuest that can be used for liquidity. You can see for yourselves that this project has never sold a single MoveQuest token or a single GFAM token. I will have a special night coming up. It won't be next Tuesday. Most likely it'll be next Thursday where we're going to go over all of the Binance Smart Chain. We've already burned over 2 billion GFAM tokens. They're gone. They're no longer in circulation. It takes us down to what will eventually be a max supply of 21 million, just like the MoveQuest token. Um, so that everybody can kind of understand what we're doing over there on the Binance side. There was no liquidity pulled from Binance side. There was nothing nefarious going on over there. Whoever dumped and sold tokens over there, it was just somebody, I don't even know who they were. They did it. They did what they do. This project does not sell the tokens. So if anybody ever tells you that, they're full of you know what. It doesn't happen. Trying to think of what else. Oh, those of you that are going to want the miners on the Binance Smart Chain, we will be giving you a date, most likely next Thursday, because once you've submitted for 30 days in a row, that will give you your mining dock slots opened on the Binance Smart Chain along with miners so that you can begin mining over there without an expense to you. It will be a short term thing. So, those of you that want to take advantage of that, we'll give you notice so you know when the date starts and when to expect those miners. So, we're getting very close on the Binance Smart Chain. Expect that to be done too by the time we fulfilled our roadmap. And that's all I got tonight. It's quite a bit, but that's what I got.
Felt like a tsunami just came through here. But you did miss one slide on
Oh, I did?
the boost. Yes, ma'am. That was a
Oh,
slide
okay.
in there. Most people, I don't think anybody but me could see it. And it said that we might possibly get Miss Lynette to share some of these boosts or make them available for all those individuals that register for the 90-day Elite Challenge before October the 20th, which is the last day
Yeah,
to
we can do that.
register.
Yep, we can.
Perfect. Perfect. So those of you, I just want to get that in before we get off the call tonight before I forget. October the 20th is the last day to join the 90-day Elite Challenge. So anybody that's been on the
Oh,
fence.
I got I'm so slow. Now I get what you're saying. I'm looking there going, what slide did I miss? Oh, that's funny. I am
Exactly.
slow.
Exactly. But yeah, anybody that's been on the fence, hadn't taken the time, you said to yourself, I'm going to do it and haven't. Um, After October the 20th is when we're going to crank it up over there. We had this 30-day on-ramping period. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. People are doing their weekly videos. People are following along. We're seeing individuals, man, that's actually motivating me. I got to step my game up or whatever to keep up with some of these people, or whatever. So, it's a great supportive environment to actually come and participate in. So, Ms. Lynette did a wonderful job of sharing that information with us this evening. I'm going to give you a brief moment to review any questions you may want to answer that's in the chat, and we're going to let everybody go for the evening.
Awesome. I'm going over the Q&A real quick. I don't think. Okay, so we are not able to give you the tokens that were mined in the reserve. That's based on liquidity. We can't even get them out because they're locked in there. That's based on a certain amount of liquidity, and if I remove them out of the vault, it's going to whack the ecosystem out. It won't even know what to do with itself. Have you received any from the Okay, those of you that want to be managers or sellers, just send me an email, okay, for right now until they get the form up on the website at lynettearton@gmail.com or hello@movequest.com, either one, and let me know that you're interested so I can connect with you. We haven't really done anything on that since we talked last week that I'm aware of, but we definitely need, if anybody in the community is interested in that, we don't want to block you out from being able to participate in that, but we don't want to come to you either. We're not going to contact you. You would have to contact us. That's one thing we don't do. And I have to tell you guys, whatever you do, do not engage with anybody that tries to hit you up in a direct message and offers to help you. Go into Zoom, where you can see a person in real life, or like Hayden does this, Kiki does this, Herschel does this. There's so many of us that will meet with you one-on-one in Zoom to make sure that you're protected and that you don't have to worry about some slimy sleazeball stealing whatever it is you have in your wallet. To me, those are like the lowest of low people walking this earth, slithering on this earth. I just cannot stand that. And you have to protect yourself. So just be careful who you're communicating with. We are not going to connect with you. We are not going to ask you for your 12-word passphrase. We are not going to send you a link to click on. We have one domain. If you go to a domain that is not ours, get off it as fast as you can. I don't know what it is with these wacko jackals out there that always want to copy what we have and send you those phishing links, or how they even pick the projects that they want to hit the hardest. But for some reason, it just seems like we've had our community hit pretty viciously. I would say, I don't know how they get in contact with all of you. And this latest one with the email, we're still stumped on that. We have done as much research and try to figure out. I mean, that's an inside job, no doubt, because how did they get the emails that they got? And they're stupid too, because they sent it to me and to our development team. So is somebody that is familiar with our system but don't know who we are. Okay, so they're stupid for one thing, because they send it to me and Waleed. I mean, that's dumb right there, because of course we're going to start looking into it and try to backtrack and figure out who it is. We've spent a lot of time, trying to figure out, got some ideas, but again, we wouldn't know who a person is. We can only kind of track by wallets and when people come to us, but we've got it narrowed down to several different wallets that have been used. We just turn those over to the authorities, and hopefully that they can, do their own investigation on it and try to cut down on it. That's about the best we can do. But your best thing to do is just protect yourself from it. Because there's not much we can do about it. Honestly, there's not. We can't. We've renounced the contracts. Now, before we renounced them, we could go burn them out of a hacker's wallet. But the community doesn't like that when you, maintain control over a token supply contract, which I totally get that. I wouldn't like it either. I probably wouldn't even engage with a project like that. So we did renounce it. But because we renounced it, we have no control. We can't burn them out. We can't stop them from, selling. We can't stop a transfer. We can't do any of that. Sometimes we get lucky enough, we can go in and we can grab your miners before they do. But what we have done is we've made it now, if if your wallet's been compromised, whether it's your fault because you clicked on a link or because you gave your 12, it's always your fault. Okay, just plain flat out. It is always your fault because you did something you shouldn't have done. The scammers just got lucky because you clicked on it. If it's been compromised and we can't get your miners, we can blacklist those miners so they can't sell them. They won't work. Well, they could sell them, but they just won't work. They would be a dead miner. We can do that because we did maintain that on the back end. If they've been hacked and we can verify it's hacked, we can stop those miners from ever being used. So it would be useless to them, and it would have a big red X that will come up on them basically and tell somebody who's buying it not to buy them. So when our market comes up, and you guys, if these people that have stolen your miners tried to list them, sell them, it would automatically put a red flag up on it that those would not be, don't purchase them because they don't work. They're dead. Um, okay, on submissions to Corinne. What we've done is optimized the claims for gas, meaning it'll shift it around. If you claim 10 days, it doesn't take 10 days in a row. What it does is it goes through all the days that you have to claim and it grabs out the most that you can claim for those 10 days with the most optimized gas fee that the blockchain would charge you. So probably what's happened is that you submitted for that day. Have you claimed at all on that day, on the 8th? If you claimed them, they probably are in your wallet. If not, you're going to need to send that in. Just send it to hello@movequest.com, or go into Zoom and hand it to Kathleen so she can get it over to us. That transaction hash for that submitted day. I know for a fact that blockchain doesn't make errors. And so it's just something that either you're not seeing or maybe there's a user interface issue or something like that. But it will be there. Boost will be able to use more than once. I know that some of them do have more than one day's use, Jason, but I'm not exactly sure um, what those are. I'll have to ask Waleed on that. I'm not going to go over the submitted stuff 'cause I'm not going to do support. Bonus on Binance. Bonuses on Binance. Probably not. My brain's dead tonight, so I'd have to think on that one to know what you're talking about. Our investigation's being done on cards in the Golden Hatchery that have 0 MoveQuest. Let me check on that one. That's the first I've ever heard of that. It's got to be a UI issue. I'm going to send that over right now because that's the first I heard of it. I had no idea that was an issue. Okay, I just sent that over. I will find out. Okay, because that's if I pay $150 fee, can I get the compromised MoveQuest from my wallets? Now, if your wallet was compromised and that MoveQuest is still in there, did they get all your AVAX? I mean, like if you were to send a dollar or two to the AVAX, does it disappear immediately? Well, I'll just answer it for you then, because you haven't answered me, but which would be hard to do. If the AVAX disappears immediately, no, because the gas fee wouldn't stay in there long enough. If the gas fee stays there, you should be able to go in and get them out yourself without us having to do so. Um, and it's not just about paying the $150 fee. You actually have to relinquish that wallet over to us so you can never use it again. And then we destroy that wallet once we are able to recover any of your tokens or miners from it. So we will never go into somebody's wallet just because you paid a fee and said that it was compromised. You have to prove it was compromised by handing us ownership of that wallet, meaning you will give us your private key. And then we would be able to do whatever we can do with your miners. 9 times out of 10, we can't do anything about the MoveQuest that's in there. And we only do that if we know 1000% that you actually are the owner of that wallet. Otherwise, we won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. So you have to be able to prove who you are. You have to be able to prove you're the owner by giving us ownership of that wallet so we can destroy it when it's done, and it can't ever be accessed by anybody again. So we're very careful about how we do it. And to be quite honest with you, I don't like doing it at all. As far as CoinMarketCap, yes. Anytime. I mean, there's no holdup on it for us. I don't know what the deal is really, other than paying them. Hardcore sleep so that the third party app like Sleepmeister isn't required. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that was an issue either, because my sleep comes up and I use my Apple Watch. If you don't use a fitness tracker for your sleep, you have to use a third-party app, I believe, with Apple. You didn't used to have to because it would listen to your breathing patterns and your phone would pick it up. I don't know if it does that anymore. I'm not up to speed on what that is anymore, but I'll find out for you and see what that is. Okay. If we're already in the Golden Hatchery, do we earn a power up or is it for new? We just haven't put together all the promotions yet, Heather, but we will. And if we say, okay, if you're in the Golden Hatchery, you're going to get this power up or that power up, it will be retroactive to every wallet that's already in the hatcheries. The Golden Hatchery is not filled up. We actually increased the tier 4. And if tier 4 fills up again and it needs more room, we'll take room from tier 1 first, tier 2 second, tier 3 next to increase tier 4. So as the demand is there for tier 4, if there's less demand for tier 1, 2, and 3, we'll take away from tier 1, 2, and 3 so we can increase tier 4. So eventually it could be only tier 4 that's available. So it's all based on demand. Everything about this ecosystem is demand. Now, in real time, actual, real life, even the MoveQuest distribution. I love that part the most. I'm so excited about that. I don't know why it took me a year to get that part out of my brain, but it did. But yeah, so even with tier 4, if the demand is high for tier 4 and it fills, but there's still room in tier 1, 2, and 3, we'll take away from tier 1, 2, and 3 to open up more room in tier 4. All right. It is 10:05, 1 hour.
All right. Well, once again, we want to thank you for hitting us with that one tonight. I'm gonna go sleep on that one, Miss Lynette. That was
I know. It's exciting. I love it. I mean, it took me, I'm not kidding you, all week. I had to think on this, think on it, figure out how to get it to work and then test it and figure out how the numbers work. And oh my God, I was torturing myself. But it finally come together and it works beautifully. I will find out on the sleep data too, by the way, for that person that just came in there.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, once again, we thank you.
Let me answer this last one. I'm sorry, one more come in from Adolf. If tier 4 becomes the only one available, will that increase the percentage yield on the MoveQuest? No. We have to stay within the 1,500 MoveQuest that can be rewarded through the hatchery right now based on our current supply of the move. So it would still be the 1,500, but by decreasing tier 1, 2, and 3, we can increase what is in tier 4. It's just an adjustment of the numbers is all. Okay, that is really it, I promise.
All right. Once again, we want to thank everybody for coming out this evening, and we will see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Face up tight, feel the ground shake. Every step's a dollar I make. Left foot, right foot, it's a game we play. Health and wealth in a single sway.
Step by step, watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time. Run, walk, jump, it's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine. Yeah, get healthy, get wealthy.
Redefined. What's my currency? No bank in sight. Sunrise to sunset, I own the night. Every stretch, every twist has a price. This grind pays twice, it's paradise. No excuses, no delay. Every motion makes my pay.
Yeah, hey, step by step,
Watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time.
run, walk, jump.
It's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy.
Yeah,
Redefine.
hey, step by
step. Watch me climb. Every move I'm cashing time.
Run, walk, jump.
It's all mine. Get healthy, get wealthy. Redefine.
Stumble, fall, I'm still in the race. Each bruise another badge I embrace. Momentum builds, can't erase the sound of corners in every pace. Every pace, every pace. Yeah, come out.
Get healthy, get wealthy, redefine.